are tuned in to Vigilant Liberty Radio. Get it on.
At Independent Journal Review, we publish news that is objective, fair, and entertaining. As one of the top websites in the United States, it's our duty to bring the absolute best to our readers. Readers like you. IJReview.com, your number one source for news and entertainment.
This is Ed Morrissey of HotAir.com, and you're listening to Vigilant Liberty Radio.
Hi, I'm Dustin Hoyt with America Our Way, and you can hear me right here on Vigilant Liberty Radio at 10/9 Central on Thursday nights. We bring you the best in political commentary from the right-wing, conservative, libertarian perspectives coming together and bringing the best content on the internet. Be sure to tune in every week for your favorite shows. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter.
If you think paying for food stamps is more important than paying for veterans, you might be a liberal. Around here, we call you an idiot. Vigilant Liberty Radio.
At Independent Journal Review, we publish news that is objective, fair, and entertaining. As one of the top websites in the United States, it's our duty to bring the absolute best to our readers. Readers like you. IJReview.com, your number one source for news and entertainment.
Welcome back to the show. This is The Right Mics with Mike Miller and Michael Hausum. If you'd like to call in for this last half-hour segment, please do 412-567-6879. Also, you can follow along on Twitter at The Right Mics. Also, after the show, we put up everything that we're talking about, links, archives, some of the things that we make reference to and on our blog, and that is therightmics.us. Thank you for listening. So, you know what? Just after that we were playing that, just had an interaction. Someone just saying, I can't believe how long it took for somebody to say no. This is an absurd idea.
Exactly. And, I was telling Jessica while you were on a break, during the break, part of the reason that it's scary that, as we said, those people's votes are equal to ours. I was talking about, the Howard Stern thing. He did it in 2008 and 2012. I'm not a huge fan of Howard, necessarily. But he sent a pretend reporter into the streets of Harlem prior to the elections and asked people what they thought about Obama's positions. What they didn't know is he ascribed every position of McCain to Obama. And so, Senator Obama is, and I can't remember the questions, you're like pro-war, pro-life, whatever. And those were not the questions. But everything that a liberal would, an educated liberal, I mean, that's kind of oxymoronic in and of itself, but would believe in, would support. And they were, as soon as they heard the word Obama, they went into a trance, and everything else was, yeah, oh yeah, I'm all for it. And the final question he asked this pretend reporter was hilarious. He goes, so after all the yeses, so you don't mind that Obama supports this and that, whatever. The final question was, okay, so you're okay with Barack Obama choosing Sarah Palin as a running mate? And
no way!
Oh, absolutely!
He really did?
Yeah, you can YouTube it. I mean, it's the initial deal in 2008. Oh yeah, Sarah, she's a good woman, and blah blah blah, and off and on, and just these people, dude, they vote. That there's count just like yours and mine.
Oh my gosh, I had absolutely no idea. I mean, I remember that, but I didn't know that he actually asked the question. Hey, what do you think of him choosing Sarah Palin as a running mate?
Yeah, yeah.
Whenever these kinds of things come up, I always wonder, and if when we have Dan Joseph on next, I want to ask him, how many, I mean, the key for any kind of video is the editing, right? How many, I mean, is it, we had to talk to 700 different people to get these 8 that we put up, or were these the first 8 people we talked to, turned off the camera and drove back to the office?
Right.
How much creativity did he have to use, or do any of these guys have to use to create these kinds of videos? You know what I mean?
Yeah, remember to ask him that. And incidentally, Dan Joseph, MRC's Media Research Center's Dan Joseph, will be on the show tomorrow at 2:30 Eastern Time. No, wait, let me think about this. Yeah, 2:30. 2:30. Dan Joseph is kind of like the smart guy's Jesse Waters, and we've had him on the show before. He and I communicate on a fairly regular basis. Dude, remember to ask him that. That's awesome.
Because I think, I mean, not that it's an important question, but it's
it's interesting. It's behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah. It's just interesting that, like, it's one thing if it's like, yeah, well, the vast majority of people answer the questions intelligently, but I intentionally edit the responses and post those things up that cast it in an odd light. Or it's like, no, the two other interviews that I had, I didn't put up because the audio was bad. Otherwise, these are the first 6 we shot.
No, I think it's probably a little bit of all of the above. I'm pretty sure the clips are not necessarily chronological, and I think that, in the clip we just listened to from Mark Dice, I'm guessing to make the video work properly that, what the hell are you talking about? I got to get out of here as fast as I can. That thing was thrown in at the end on purpose. But I think also I want to answer for Dan, but I would suspect maybe some of the topics that you can, like you said, dude, we got 8, the first 8 are good to go, we're out of here, and then others, maybe are a little less definitive or whatever, and they have to go through more to to make the video. But dude, that's great. Okay, so you just sent me this link Colin put up. I am not a huge Chris Christie fan. I was initially when I saw him. In fact, I stumbled across him accidentally because I'm a political junkie. Have been since I was literally, 8, 9 years old. But Chris Christie, his acceptance speech when he was elected governor of New Jersey, I thought this is a superstar of the future. Well, to me, he's going to be whoever he needs to be, depending on who he's talking to. And that's a whole nother discussion. So you sent me this link. 8 things Chris Christie said this past weekend show that he's reaching out to conservatives. I take that with a grain of salt. I mean, I'm sure he tried to do it, but what's that all about?
Well, he gave a speech at the Iowa Freedom Summit, which is, if you're a student of presidential politics, the game begins in Iowa, right?
Yeah, and our guy, real quickly, and I'm sorry, and then I'll shut up. Our guy that we like rocked it out there.
Oh yeah, his speech was absolutely fantastic.
Anyway, man, go ahead.
So Governor Christie gets up there, and he's talking about, basically the article here just gives some talking points that all sound very, very conservative. In fact, let's go through and we'll read some of the quotes. First one, we need to renew our country by once again encouraging our citizens and believing true success is in their power, not by the power of the hand in government in Washington, D.C.
Right. Every American
Second,
has the right to pursue happiness. Happiness as they see it, as they define it, not as some emperor, king, or imperial president defines it at 1600 Pennsylvania.
you don't do it by pandering. You don't do it by telling people what they want to hear. I know this because we did this in New Jersey.
And despite what those I don't get that. Despite what those conventional wisdom hawks may say to you, hawks, I can assure you, being pro-life is not a political liability anywhere in America.
If you want a candidate that agrees with you 100% of the time, I'll give you a suggestion. Go home and look in the mirror.
Now, I like that one. We don't demonize the wealthy as so many folks at the Democratic Party do. Kudos.
I have an Irish father and I had a Sicilian mother, which means at a very young age, I got very good at conflict resolution.
That's actually pretty fun. That's pretty good. All right.
You know what? It kind of bugs me, dude, that every other one of these things, there are quotes in the quotation marks, and then not quotation marks. Sloppy editing.
Yeah, very sloppy editing. And I got to go back to, despite what those conventional, that wasn't well done either. But Christie can be what he wants to be, depending who he's talking to. Now, listen, I realize, this guy is a fairly popular governor in a, by and large, liberal state who has worked with Democrats, has to work with the Democratic legislature to get stuff done, okay? But I am one of those people who will never, ever forgive Chris Christie for a week before the 2012 election or thereabouts, walking BFF arm in arm with Obama, who went to Jersey, Hurricane Sandy. And dude, Christie fell all over him. It just, I don't know if it's a celebrity type thing, because you saw, just see the same thing. Have you seen videos of him? Why'd my voice get so high? But have you seen videos of him in the box with Jerry Jones and the owners of the Cowboys? Just jumping up and down and wanting to be part of the deal and hugging and whatever. Maybe that's part of it, but I suspect on the other hand, it's this chameleon thing, that he can do. And lots of conservatives thought, all right, Obama comes, it's a photo op for him, he's a president, you got to go greet him at the helicopter and the whole bit. But do you have to be effusive and throw yourself all over him, knowing full well that within a week, back up the bus, that this is going to be spread all over the liberal media, and within a week, this dude is running against Mitt Romney. I will never forgive him for that.
Yeah, let's put it this way. I would not have seen Jan Brewer responding similarly.
No.
That being said, one of the funnest things to do is to go watch a Chris Christie press conference and watch him interact with people who are being moronic. I put one up, it was a couple of weeks ago, that he was standing in a street giving a speech. And it was at the 2-year, whatever anniversary of the hurricane or whatever it was. And some guy stands up and Christie just laid him out.
I love that part. I love that part of Christie.
Right. So here's my conundrum is that, I'm a Scott Walker guy. I watched the video that Walker had. I pulled up an article here that he's formed this exploratory committee for 2016. Rah, rah, rah. I want a conservative in the White House. What I don't want, more than I don't know. On one hand, do I want a conservative in the White House, or do I not want Hillary or Pocahontas or some as yet undiscovered blank slate lefty candidate that the Democrats will trot out?
Well, I think we want, you and I want both of those in that order. We want a conservative in the White House. If that can't be, we want any of the above on the Republican docket versus Hillary Clinton.
Right. So, I mean, I hear these statements, and obviously he's speaking my language. He's obviously speaking the language that the